Now call the special.
Councilmember Dean,
Here.
Councilmember Howe,
Present.
Councilmember Hyman,
Present.
Councilmember Jackson,
Here.
Councilmember Ward,
Here.
Vice Mayor Ripple, Mayor Malpager.
Here.
Discussion regarding the one-time downtown construction impact business grant program.
I'll begin by asking where Vice Mayor Riffle is. I thought this was his deal.
I
Does he not know? Is he well aware of what's going on? It seemed like he wanted to talk about
I was
There
under
you
the
go.
assumption he was coming.
Never assume.
it. You know what happens.
What?
I'm not gonna. Go ahead, Wayne. I'm sorry.
Well, I just have, I'm not gonna really talk about it too much, but the thing that I would like to see in the amendment, if it comes back up again on the floor, is that there's language in the resolution that states that if the businesses who applied are not up to date on any of their fees or B&O taxes or anything like that, then that would be excluded. There's nowhere that I've seen in the resolution that states that.
No, and there wasn't last time because Annette sent me another piece of legislation that we have that states you have to be up to date to be eligible to enter into an agreement with the city, which is what this is.
Okay. I mean, can we still at least reference that in
Yeah, we
in
can,
the amendment
we
to
can
the
put that in
resolution?
there as well. My question would be, do you want to give people the opportunity to catch up and then participate within a certain amount of time, or just not have it at all?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that question. To catch up, what do you?
So if they're behind on fire fees,
Okay.
can they pay them off to be eligible for that grant?
I mean, that would be fine, yeah. I
Okay.
think that would be.
That's what we did with
Yeah.
the previous grant, is that they had to catch up on whatever they were behind on in the city before they were eligible for the grant.
I just want to make sure it's just specified inside the resolution. That way I'm not getting calls saying, well, they said I wasn't approved because of this, but it wasn't in the resolution. So.
Well, I don't believe that, if an individual, I think that we need to look at that real close, because if they're way behind on their fire fees, then are they just going to come in, pay the fire fees to get that chunk of change? And then we're not going to see any more fire fees or any more, so we have to be real careful with that. If they haven't been, above board up to this point, then, what makes us think that, after they get this check, they would do that.
And I agree with you, Councilman Jackson. And I think, maybe it's just at the time that you apply for the grant, if you are not caught up with your fees or your B&O taxes or anything, then that's an automatic exclusion.
I think that's how it is now, isn't it?
No.
So right now you're eligible if you're not.
Well, you
with
have
your-
to be up to date, so we gave people an opportunity to
catch
get up
up?
to date, yes.
Mm.
But I agree with the sentiment.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. If they're 3 or 4 years behind, I don't think they should get it done. I mean, they're going to do exactly what Councilman Jackson said. They're going to, they're going to get caught up and then probably the next year.
I mean, is that
I would just propose that we do say if they're more than a half a year behind, we don't do it.
Agreed.
They're not eligible.
Not eligible.
that's common sense.
Yeah.
We can put that in the resolution too.
That'd be good.
And
I think the only other thing I have is that can we at least have like a physical application, if there's not a physical application that could be accessible to, businesses that want to apply?
we do have an application.
So we do have a physical application. Is there?
Everybody
Okay.
signed, dated a physical application.
Okay, that's good. And then and then my only other request would be like any approvals or denials, of the program, a letter be sent to them in writing for that.
Yes.
And that's all I got.
So when this comes back to council, I would like to make sure that we have the expansion that was sent out by City Manager Fell on April 16th and was up for discussion at the last meeting. That takes care of the people who don't pay the fire fee because they operate inside of another business like CAPS or those kinds of organizations. And that that language was visible to council last week, and in the amount of $2,100. I think it's what they deserve. I think it was an oversight on our part when the program came through the first time.
We jumped to conclusions there. I think it should have been $2,000 across the board, period. In the beginning.
And Mr. Mayor, I think you're probably right, and you brought that up.
And it died on the floor.
Well, we didn't go to a vote though, and I think
It's dying on the floor.
well, okay, and I think that Councilman Worth, we talked about extending the boundaries the first time, and that also died on the floor. I'm not saying that we aren't guilty of it, but here we are.
Let's just say even Michael Jordan missed shots. Can we make an amendment to the agenda tonight? You can make amendments to the agenda, right? The day of,
For what?
to add this tonight.
No,
You sure?
no, you cannot, unless it's an emergency. Yeah, no, you-
What constitutes an emergency?
Like,
Something on
Not
fire.
that.
yeah, something on fire.
Something on fire.
Yeah.
I just
Public
Military
safety,
intervention.
That's well defined.
public safety and welfare would be an emergency.
I just wanted to know that answer too. But yeah.
I would offer that you probably could. I think the rules would need to be stated in our charter to allow to do that, because I know for a fact that in other organizations that I'm a part of, is every vote at the beginning of a meeting approves the agenda, whether it's our national convention or state convention or even our monthly meeting. So I'm not going to sit here and pick over that in Robert's Rules of Orders, but I believe it's possible. However, it would have to be listed in our charter with the ability.
That's why I thought I read it.
Well, I
before.
think
That's
it
why.
violates the Open Governmental Proceedings Act, which is what we have to follow before we follow Robert's rules.
Interesting. So, well,
And the guy on the end is just stirring up stuff because he's leaving.
Yeah. He just wants to see-
I mean,
He's
I'm
gonna see
kind
it
of
burn.
disappointed that this meeting wasn't. I'm going to speak freely here. I'm disappointed that this meeting was not on the agenda. This item was not on the regular meeting agenda today. I think a challenge for you guys going forward is to have open debate at regular meetings and debate what needs to be debated, make amendments, and move stuff, and not come back for a 10-minute meeting when we could have talked about this at a regular meeting. And I understand that you guys want to talk about it and break bread and do all this. If this meeting ends in the next 5 minutes, I'm gonna be pissed. That's all I gotta say. I mean, there's no reason that we should have done this, really.
He's got a cold beer across the street waiting for him.
Man, I'm just saying. I mean, it's like and I'll let it be clear right now. If this comes back on the agenda in the next month, and this month or in June, I'm not going to support it. Obviously, I didn't support it the first time. And if I had the ability to amend it and terminate the program and send all the money back to ARPA, I would. So that's what should have been done when Marcia Vilanca was here asking for money for the sidewalk out there for the breakers or whatever needed to be fixed. We could have done it right then and there, and we'd been done with it. We wouldn't have had this headache. But that's for you guys to figure out. So I said my piece.
Anyone else?
We've got to extend it a little bit longer.
Does someone talk for 5 minutes?
Gentlemen, I will tell you that at this meeting tonight, I have to leave the premises at 5:07, so if Gary's on, I have to go.
So no council comments?
Just giving you all that. Well, while we're still sitting here, can I bring up something? It's just an idea. You know, we want to vote on it. I'll do it with the council comments.
Well, I'll make a motion, if no one else has discussion, to adjourn and piss Will Hyman off.
Oh, no, let's just stay here.
Is that an amendment?
I got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Adjourn.
While we're on here, let me ask you something real quick. On Tuesday,
We'll now call the May 21st City Council meeting to order.
Councilmember Deems?
Here.
Councilmember Howe?
Present.
Councilmember Hyman? Councilmember Jackson?
Here.
Councilman Worth?
Here.
Vice Mayor Richter?
Here.
Mayor Malcolm.
Here.
This evening, we have our prayer and pledge by Councilmember Hyman.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, I am thankful for the opportunity to serve this city. I ask that you now bless the transitions occurring within this council. Grant the current members and the incoming representatives a spirit of collaboration and mutual respect. May they move forward as a unified body, recognizing that though they may hold different perspectives, their goal remains the same, the prosperity and well-being of our citizens. May they replace division with dialogue, and may they find common ground to build upon the years ahead. So Lord, as I conclude my time in this chamber, I offer this final prayer of gratitude and hope. Let the city continue to make steps towards achieving its goals under your guidance, sustained by a shared commitment to service and integrity. And may this council remain a place where progress is nurtured and where every voice is heard. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening, we have some special presentations. If Delegate Mickey Petito would come forward and our mayor.
Thank you all for allowing me to be here. I am Mickey Petito. I'm the delegate for District 70, which is Clarksburg, Nutter Fort. And the state of West Virginia, for senators and delegates, appropriate a certain amount of money that we can give to our communities to help things. So I'm here to present this check for $25,000 to go towards the first responder statue.
In Charleston, representing us. Thank you very much. And this will go a long way because I think if I'm not mistaken, we have 55,000. So with this check, we will be able to order 2 of the 3 statues, which we will do here shortly. So thank you.
Okay, if Allison Scarcelli Chambers would come forward, please.
Very good. Good. A proclamation. Whereas migraine is a complex, disabling neurological disease affecting more than 39 million people in the United States and over 1 billion people worldwide, including many residents of West Virginia. And whereas migraine disease and other heart attack disorders are among the leading causes of disability, impacting individuals' ability to work, attend school, care for families, and participate fully in daily life. And whereas migraine attacks can involve symptoms such as sensitivity to light, sound, odors, or movement, nausea, vomiting, visual disturbances, and intense pains which last 4 to 72 hours. And whereas less common than migraine disease, cluster headaches are characterized by severe pain centered on one side of the head and attacks lasting from 15 minutes to 3 hours up to 8 times a day. And whereas while there is no cure for headache disorders, increased awareness and education can lead to earlier diagnosis, improved access to care, greater understanding and compassion for those affected, and improved treatment options. And whereas recognizing Migraine Headache Awareness Month affirms experiences of individuals living with migraine disease, promotes advocacy, support, and community awareness throughout West Virginia, making the invisible burden of migraine disease visible. Now therefore, I, James L. Malcolm, Mayor of the City of Clarksburg, do hereby proclaim June 2026 as Migraine and Headache Awareness Month.
Aware, invisible. I've met several people through this community leadership I'm advocating for. People are trying to oh, I have migraine, thanks for making us visible. So I'm here to help the state of West Virginia. I appreciate this. This is my first one, and the step in the right direction.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Riffle, if Terry Sigley and her group would come forward, please.
Can I have those glasses?
You want to work your
You're welcome. I was watching out.
Proclamations. Whereas the
17 who have chosen to invest their time, energy, and hearts into making our city better. Whereas, rather than waiting for change to happen, these young people are creating the change they want to see. And whereas the Youth Movement Association has demonstrated a steadfast commitment to empowering young people, leadership, education, community service, mentorship, and civic engagement. And whereas the organization has provided opportunities for youth to develop confidence, character, responsibility, and the skills necessary to provide productive and compassionate citizens. Whereas the dedication and action of the Youth Movement Association's leaders, volunteers, families, and members have strengthened our community as a whole. And whereas the Youth Movement Association hosted parties for children, organized clothing drives, put together community cookouts, supported toy distributions during Christmas, and provided helping hands wherever needed. And whereas the Youth Movement Association continues to inspire unity, collaboration, and positive change by encouraging youth participation in programs that promote personal growth and academic achievement, cultural awareness, and public service. Now, therefore, I, Jerry F. Ripple, Vice Mayor of the City of Clarksburg, do hereby recognize the contributions and achievements of the Youth Movement Association and express appreciation for the valuable work they do throughout our city.
Good evening, members of the council and everyone here tonight. My name is Harper Sigley, and I'm a founding member of the Youth Movement Association, YMA. The YMA is a youth-driven organization focused on improving the lives of people in Clarksburg. I started this organization back in 7th grade after being encouraged by my mom. What started as a small idea honestly just grew over time as I kept seeing needs in our community that I felt like we couldn't ignore. At first, it was just the idea of helping out where we could, but it slowly turned into something more structured as more people got involved, and we started realizing how much of an impact consistent youth involvement can actually have. Over the years, the YMA has worked closely with Friendsgiving Friends to help prepare and serve meals for individuals experiencing homelessness. Those days stand out to me because it's one thing to hear about struggles in the community, but it's another thing completely to be right there serving someone a meal and having a real conversation with them. It makes everything more real and more personal. We've also done a Mother's Day project at Teen Challenge, where we help put together gifts and support for the women there. Along with what we've done clothing drives and toy drives to help families in need, especially around the holidays when things can be harder for a lot of people. More recently, we started doing holiday events for kids at Alta Vista, and that's been one of the most rewarding parts of what we do. Getting to actually spend time with the kids, interact with them, and see those moments of excitement and happiness is something that really sticks with you. We've also put together stockings for veterans, which was another experience that meant a lot to me. It was a simple idea, but it felt important to show appreciation in a direct way to people who have served. It was one of those projects that reminded me that even small gestures can carry a lot of meaning. What I'm most proud of isn't any single event or project, but the overall experience of being part of all of them, especially at Friendsgiving Friends in Alta Vista, where you go, where you really get to connect with people one-on-one. Those conversations moments are what made me realize that this organization is more than just service. It's about connection and respect and actually showing up for people. This organization has gone through a lot of changes over time, with different leaderships and different groups of members coming in and out. We had shifts from Brand Imperial and Jerry Ripple here to CW Debt and now my mom guiding things. Through all that, what's staying consistent is the purpose, and even when people thought had changed. As I get ready to move on to college, my biggest goal is to make sure the YMA doesn't fade out or lose momentum, but instead becomes more sustainable and more youth-driven than ever. That means bringing in more members, especially younger students who are willing to stay committed long term, and building a foundation of leadership and after teaching music and after I'm gone. At the end of the day, I just want the YMA to keep growing beyond any one person, including myself, and continue making a real impact in Clarksburg for years to come. Thank you for your time and for recognizing the Youth Movement Association.
It was an honor to work with you guys, to be a part of you guys' group at one point. I know the community that you helped build, the community you may help stay at, so I know it's important to get the youth involved. And when your mom reached out to me about this, it actually got me kind of emotional when I don't know if she was trying to do that, but her message was pretty good. But it's an honor, honestly, you guys to come up here, and we want to support you. I know the rest of the city council supports you. We support the youth, so thank you. You can take the meeting if you want. You have a lot of good things on there. But most people do.
Thanks, Karen. Thank you.
Public hearing on the proposed budget for fiscal year 2026-2027.
We will now open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against may do so at this time. We'll now close the public hearing.
Petitions, communications, and public hearings. I don't believe we have any this evening. Unfinished business, consideration of second and final reading and public hearing of an ordinance transferring 517 Duff Avenue from the city of Clarksburg to the Clarksburg Land Reuse Agency. Notices regarding the public hearing appeared in the Exponent Telegram on May 13th and May 20th.
We will now open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against may do so at this time. We'll close the public hearing.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion transferring 517 Duff Avenue from the city of Clarksburg to the Clarksburg Land Reuse Agency.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
New business, consideration of approval of the budget for fiscal year 2026-2027 in the amount of $18,546,864 for the general fund, $71,000 for the coal severance tax fund, $276,000 for the police fund escrow fund, $2,143,141 for the excess property tax levy fund, $1,820,000 for the financial stabilization fund, $7,230,000 for the sales and use tax fund, and $1,762,750 for the Robinson Graham Performing Arts Center.
Oh boy, that was a mouthful. Madam Clerk,
God bless you, whoever that
I
was.
move we approve the budget for fiscal year 26-27 in the amount of $18,546,864 for the general fund, $71,000 for the coal severance tax fund, $276,000 for the police fine escrow fund, $2,143,141 for the excess property tax levy fund, $1,820,000 for the financial stabilization fund, $7,230,000 for the sales and use tax fund, and $1,762,750 for the Robinson Graham Performing Arts Center.
I'll second that.
Could you read that again, please? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Discussion. Oh, real quick, if you don't mind. So I just for clarification purposes as well, and I think for our constituents that are here. So Kim, we are doing this again because we already passed it statutorily. We had to do it in March. But we have to do it again because the levies, we have to do the election with the county, correct? So they kicked it back to us? Okay. Do we know in the future, so in the future, we will do our levy election, I hope, right, a year in advance, so that doesn't happen again?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Discussion and or consideration regarding the Change Initiative's Linden Elementary project.
Hi. Thank you, Mayor Malfajo, Tiffany, Annette, and council members for putting us on the agenda tonight. Not for the people in front of us, you all know, but for anyone else. I'm Melissa Romano. I'm a licensed graduate social worker and the Chief Operations Officer of the Change Initiative. With me is Angelica Scott, who has a master's in social work, and she's a founder and the CEO of the Change Initiative. Together, we lead this organization that runs the Phoenix Recovery House on Pike Street. We're here to share what we've built over the last 8 years, the statewide gap that we're being asked to scale into, and the specific ask that we want the city to fill to make that scale possible. We'll try to keep it focused and leave room for your questions. I want to start with the numbers that explain why we're here. According to WVAR, which is the West Virginia Alliance of Recovery Residences, there are 50 certified recovery residences in West Virginia that accept women. Across all 50 of those houses combined, there are 674 beds for women. But of those 50 homes, only 8 accept women with their children. Across those 8 homes, that's 118 beds. If you assume incorrectly that each woman has 1 child, that means 59 women and 59 children in the entire state of West Virginia can access safe, family-centered recovery housing at any given time. Phoenix Recovery House here in Clarksburg, and the only one in North Central West Virginia, is one of those 8 homes. We are not just a Clarksburg program. We're part of the only network of family-centered recovery housing in the state of West Virginia, and the demand is far beyond what we can meet. Last year alone, we turned away over 100 women, many of them mothers with nowhere else to go where they could keep their children with them and choose recovery. This is the gap that our expansion is built around, and we want to increase those statewide numbers, and we believe that Clarksburg can lead that.
So what we have already done, we are a level 2 certified with our recovery house, and we've been operating this program in Clarksburg since 2021. Melissa and I hold licensing credentials and oversee the program along with our program coordinator and recovery coach that's in-house. Both of them have peer recovery certifications. We run a structured, trauma-informed, evidence-based one-year program. That program has 4 phases. The first 3 months of it builds a foundation. We build daily routines. We have weekly one-on-ones with the program coordinator and recovery coach. We have rational emotive behavior therapy-based curriculum, along with recovery capital assessments that we do every 45 and 90 days. And that measures the real progress of our program. The middle phase builds independence. We do smart recovery, career planning, expanding support networks. And the final phase is where each woman prepares to live independently when she leaves our program. One element that's important to me that I want you guys to understand makes our program a little bit differently is we have monthly recovery team meetings. So every month residents sit down with her people, that's her family, her sponsor, her therapist, CPS worker if she has one, anybody that's in her corner. We really work together to see how she is doing, what progress she has, how we can make sure that is long-term, that success is long-term. So we bring them into the room. It's one of the biggest reasons our graduates stay in long-term recovery, because recovery isn't just about abstinence, it's rebuilding lives. And that looks like 21 children that have been served in our program have been reunited with their mothers. So that's enough to fill the classroom at Nutter Fort Elementary. Like, we are rebuilding lives. 9 women have completed our full one-year program. 9 others are in stable careers, and multiple women are living independently. Those numbers look like 50% of the women that we served since 2021 came from Clarksburg. So they are people here living in our community. The other 50% came here from elsewhere in West Virginia and beyond, and 25% of those have made Clarksburg their permanent home. Excuse me. I've been talking all day. I was training earlier. So when you do the math, 75% of the women we serve end up calling Clarksburg home in a positive way. Half of them were already from here. A quarter chose to stay here. They live here, work here, and raise their children here. They're a part of Clarksburg's future.
What we're proposing is to acquire and fully rehabilitate the Linden Elementary property in Clarksburg and expand from 9 beds that we currently have to 36 to 40 beds and create a true recovery hub that serves not only Phoenix residents, but the broader recovery community across our region. What's already been secured is $380,000 from the West Virginia First Foundation. The Change Initiative was the only program in our region spanning 13 counties awarded this funding, beating out major competitors in a very competitive statewide process. That award validated our model, our outcomes, and our readiness to scale. That funding is specifically designated to purchase or build to expand recovery beds, which is why we went to acquire Linden Elementary. Our current funding partnerships include West Virginia First Foundation, the United Way of Harrison and Doddridge Counties, Harrison County Commission, and the West Virginia Recovery Housing Partnership. The total estimate cost for this expansion project is $1.6 million. What we're asking from the city is $1 million to rehabilitate the structure once acquired. The remaining gap, approximately $220,000, is being raised through our existing funder network and an active capital campaign. We are under contract to close on Linden Elementary by August 28th, contingent on the Land Reuse Agency approval and working that out with them. We are working with local architects, with local construction companies, and we're applying for pro bono conceptual master planning services from Mills Group to ensure that our figures our design, our execution are all accurate and optimized, we are bringing the right professionals, local expertise before we spend a dollar. We also don't own our current 9-bed facility. We rent it, and we have far maxed out what's possible there. To expand, we need to own a property that we can rehabilitate to fit our current program, and that's why this is a capital request, not an operating one. We're not asking the city to fund what we're already doing. We're asking the city to make possible what we cannot do without a building of our own.
So why Linden? It was chosen deliberately. First, for the location. In the recovery community in Clarksburg, you have from Hardee's to Wendy's, that corridor of where all the services are happening. So bus stops, churches, evening recovery meetings, employers who hire people in recovery. It's central to Clarksburg. But the property itself sits back from the main street. So that's privacy without isolation. We're building communities. That balance is rare, and it matters to people in recovery. Second, it's the neighborhood that we already operate in. We're not introducing our program to a new part of the city. It's where we are operating. The community knows us. And as we move forward, we'll conduct our standard direct introductions where Melissa and I go door to door telling everybody our operations because we have a good neighbor policy. And third, and this matters to us personally, is Linden was a school. Children's lives were filled in those classrooms once. The building has been quiet, and we have an opportunity to bring life back into it in a different form. The building was always meant for opportunity and growth. We are invested in positively changing the trajectory of generations in our city. With that, we'll build a recovery hub, and the building has 3 floors, and what that will look like, the entire first floor is dedicated to a recovery community services. So not just a space for recovery residences. This space is designed for anyone in Clarksburg area in recovery, whatever program they're working. Whether that's 12-step, that's smart recovery, that's a faith-based, that's MAT, or no formal program at all. That floor will host space for existing community recovery services. Those resources are already in our county. They just don't have a single physical home to coordinate from. And we want to be the home, not replace them, but to convene them. We want to do sponsor connection, something that our community is struggling with right now. People in early recovery need sponsors, and there aren't enough available. Then we need warm handoffs between programs. When someone leaves treatment, when they're leaving jail and need housing or finding a meeting, or they leave the ER because there was an overdose, we want someone to walk with them into recovery. The hub is where that will happen. We'll do warm handoffs, a person, a human in a room with follow through. And then expanded community-based services, recovery coaching, peer support, case management, coordination. The second floor, open to the entire community, will have a family visitation space, parenting programs, family therapy, and family system coordination. And then the third is the Phoenix Recovery Program, which we will be able to expand. That will have 36 to 40 beds, where we only have 9 now. It'll be live-in residential floors. I think there's 7 classrooms on that 3rd floor that will be able to divide up and have multiple people in there. The point of this design, the building isn't just expanded recovery housing, it's a recovery house plus a regional resource that the rest of the recovery community can use. 2 out of the 3 floors are open to everyone.
I do want to be direct about why this belongs in front of the city council and not a private funding room. This rehabilitates a structure in a Clarksburg neighborhood. So we're not building new. We are restoring an existing property, and every dollar of rehabilitation increases the value of surrounding parcels and contributes to the neighborhood revitalization that you guys are already doing a really great job with. This is also leverage. So the city's $1 million unlocks the $380,000 that we currently have committed by the West Virginia First Foundation and the additional funding being raised. So your investment activates this entire project, and that's a return on civic dollars that not many investments can offer. This is also population stabilization. As Angelica mentioned, when you combine the women who are originally from Clarksburg with the women who choose to make Clarksburg home, roughly 75% of the women we serve are or become Clarksburg residents. Scaling from 9 to 36 to 40 beds means more women in long-term recovery, more children in Clarksburg schools, more workers in the Clarksburg economy, more residents on the city's tax base. In a region where every other city is losing its population, this is one of the rare programs that's keeping people here. This is also fiscally sound. For every $1 invested in recovery services, research documents a $7 return through reduced healthcare costs, criminal justice involvement, and child welfare expenditures. This is one of the highest return investments that any municipality can make. It also reduces the strain on city services. So women in stable, structured, year-long recovery housing produce fewer EMS calls, fewer police interactions, fewer foster care placements, fewer crisis-driven interventions. This is how our community moves from reactive to proactive. This also shifts the narrative. Clarksburg has carried the weight of the addiction crisis for years. We all know that. This project is part of how we change the narrative from active addiction to active recovery. When one person recovers, our community recovers. Scaling this program is how we turn Clarksburg into becoming known as a recovery community. We also want to acknowledge what the city does give up. As a 501c3 nonprofit, this property will be tax exempt, so we don't take that lightly, and we're prepared to come back to council with a proposed community contribution agreement, essentially creating a structured way that the Change Initiative will make ongoing financial contributions to the city that will partially offset the loss in the property tax revenue. This specific structure would be something that we would come to the city manager's office with, come to an agreement, and then present back to council. We want to be a partner, not just a recipient. This is also a good neighbor. Like Angelica said, we've operated under a good neighbor policy since 2021. That includes a direct contact line for any neighbor to me, my personal phone that I will answer. Door-to-door introductions when occupancy begins or changes, defined conduct standards from all of our residents for the neighborhood, property maintenance commitments, including the yard and the exterior, participation in neighborhood meetings and cleanup events, and documented follow-up on every neighbor concern. This policy will expand with us in this new project. The same standards that govern our existing structure will govern that structure and expand. Council's next reasonable question should be, if we fund construction, are you back next year asking us to fund operations? The answer is no. This is a capital request. The $1 million funds the building, not the program. I will make no promises that I will ask you for no other money ever. But this is not to fund the program. Our operating model is built on 3 sources: behavioral health licensure reimbursement. We are actively pursuing that licensure, which will allow us to bill for clinical services and stabilize a major revenue stream. Program fees from residents. It's structured to be accessible while contributing to our operations. And then the community-based expanded services, which would include any programming we're offering through the Recovery Hub. We have built this organization without dependence on annual city funds, and we will continue to operate that way. We utilize every existing resource to its fullest potential. We do not let any resource go untapped if it means a stronger outcome for Clarksburg and its residents.
So what success will look like? We will be able to add 36 to 40 recovery beds for women and children in Clarksburg. We'll have a recovery hub with services open to the entire community. We'll be able to expand children's services with wraparound supports, therapy, ensuring the next generation of Clarksburg families have what they need to break cycles rather than repeat them. We'll have partnerships with prevention and treatment agencies so that recovery is attainable for all. We'll have a rehabilitated structure contributing to neighborhood revitalization, and more people choosing to make Clarksburg home in a positive way. And then the big one, the really important one to me as a resident of Clarksburg, is a narrative shift. Like Melissa was talking about, we've been defined by the addiction crisis, and we can be known for a city in recovery. So the ask, we are respectfully asking for $1 million in capital funding from the city of Clarksburg towards the acquisition and rehabilitation of the Linden property. The investment leverages the $380,000 that we received from the West Virginia First Foundation. It anchors a $1.6 million recovery project in Clarksburg and expands a program and organization with our proven track record of strong follow through. Melissa and I have proven over and over that you can always depend on us to show up and to provide quality services. And that's not tied to our job or organization at all. So we are asking this council to support that continued participation. Thank you for your consideration, and we're happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. I'm sure there's
I had some, just
Yes.
some questions. First, I guess the city manager and maybe you all too. So are you currently under contract with the owner to obtain the building?
We
Or is
are.
this still in the land
No,
bank?
well, yes,
Yes.
Okay.
both. We are working with the land reuse agency and we are under contract depending on the approval of the land reuse agency. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess,
Is that typically how
Well,
that works? I mean, I don't know.
it's very, this is more complicated.
Okay.
I think the idea, you guys do a great job. There's a contract with North Central Builders, NCB. He has the deed, however, there's requirements in that building. So I think what should have probably happened first was the owner of the building should have come to myself or the LRA. We haven't, when this came up, I had no idea, and I sit on the LRA, so I didn't know, and I hadn't heard about this until the request is to be on the agenda. So I asked Richard to pull the agreement. We're going through the agreement. That building was sold to the NCB for $3,500. There's a lot of information and details that I would need to look at to move forward with the LRA.
Would that, I mean,
Because council
Would this
can't
proposal-
override that agreement.
right, but would this proposal, I guess, facilitate a LRA meeting just to discuss?
Yes.
That in
Now,
detail?
now that it's come here for discussion, my suggestion is the next step is the LRA calls a meeting and we'll discuss. And then the LRA can get together with council and then discuss. And then this application should come to the opioid policy that council passed for discussion.
Okay.
And then probably, then we'll have everything in place to make a decision. The council has everything in place to make a decision.
please, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, please clarify, who is the property in the LRA, or is the property owned by Mr. Martinez?
The property is owned by NCB.
Okay.
However, there's certain requirements attached to that active agreement that have not been met.
And that's
There's
an
there's
agreement
an
between.
there's an option agreement. on
Okay,
it,
so that's an agreement between NCB and the land bank?
Yes.
Okay.
which we contingent on. We sent all of the information to the LRA. We contingent on the agreement would either absorb whatever was set, the standard that was set, or work something else out.
Sounds like to me that council ought to table this.
Well, I don't believe there's any reason to table it, and because I have several questions, so let's get to those first. Tell me about the agreement that Mr. Martinez and the LR have. Like, I know you kind of danced around it a little bit. Can you explain the details of it? Like, what's holding us back from either owning the building, the LRA owning the building, or Mr. Martinez owning the building? I guess maybe I'm.
I mean, I don't think they have the details. So
Who is they? Okay, I just want to clarify.
yeah, so the agreement between, because the LRA was there to acquire the Linden basically by paying past taxes.
Mhm.
And I believe those were about $3,500. And it sold the property to North Central Builders for the $3,500. But it retained an option agreement to repurchase it for $3,500 if North Central Builders did not do certain things. So the main thing that it has to do is within 2 years of the agreement, so basically by this time next year now,
they have to have occupancy for at least 75% of square footage or 8 units, whichever is less. That's the main thing they have to do. So they need to have, by this time next year, there would have to be 8 residential units in that facility that are already have certificate of occupancy and they're ready to rent out. That's what the agreement is with the LRA. If, for whatever reason, North Central Builders does not do that, the LRA has the right to come back in and do an exercise its option and repurchase that property for $3,500.
Okay.
So would the third floor with the 36 to 40 beds, would that constitute paying rent? I mean, I think in most sober living situations.
No, I mean,
people-
right now, without another agreement, I don't think this is their proposal does not qualify to satisfy the LRA's agreement. Because the LRA requires market rate apartments.
Okay.
So that agreement would have to be redone.
And so that agreement could be redone, and then the LRA could look at that and make a decision at that point.
Absolutely. I mean, as long as North Central Builders, it's just an option.
Okay.
Frankly, if the LRA said, we don't even care anymore, we'll waive the option, they could waive the option. It's not a deed restriction on it, it's just an option agreement.
Okay.
So that's entirely up to the LRA on how you want to do it. The proposal that was brought to the LRA was, hey, we're going to turn this into an apartment complex. And so we did some negotiations, said we need to have at least 8 units in that facility within 2 years.
When was that agreement signed?
This time last year.
This time last year, okay.
Yeah.
And so what would need to happen then is that the change initiative in North Central Builders would have to come back to the LRA, present their new redevelopment plan for this, for the school. And then that would have to be approved through the LRA before this moves forward.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think there's any way I mean, the option agreement has to be completely remodeled. Their project cannot satisfy the option agreement, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the first step
Okay.
in moving this forward.
But of course, that doesn't mean you can't completely redo the option agreement.
Yes,
Right. Okay.
And the change initiative would eventually own the building.
yes. We just have to
Y-
call
right.
and we can call an LRA meeting quite quickly.
Sure.
That's not an issue. We just have that active agreement on it.
Gotcha.
Wasn't there, and I've slept since then, can you tell me, wasn't the Linden building itself placed into one of the TIF districts we redid or
Yes.
Yes.
And no.
Yes and no?
It's going to go into the new TIF district.
Okay.
Plan, just because it didn't need to go into it, but how the boundaries were, it made sense logically to put that in there because the development was gonna happen.
Okay, how would that affect?
It doesn't affect anything, really, because this will go to a nonprofit, so, it's not gonna generate taxes.
Mhm.
So it really, from a TIF district perspective, it's irrelevant.
Okay.
It doesn't, if the change initiative gets it, it won't benefit the TIF district. And so it's slightly, I guess, decrease in future revenue of the TIF district if you're going from an apartment complex to a nonprofit. But in the whole scheme of things, I don't think we're worried about.
But there's nothing that says they cannot request funding from the TIF district.
Sure. I mean, that's exactly why I asked the question. I think that's more than fair.
Yes, you could do that.
I think everybody, if you're in the TIF district, I believe you have the right, as a property owner to request that funds. I mean, regardless of what business or nonprofit you own, I mean, that's what it's there for. So,
Well, while he's going through that, can you all explain to us how exactly is the operational funding of the facility going to work?
So we're actively working towards a behavioral health license that will offset a huge revenue stream for us. We also accept program fees from everyone. It's we don't call it a rent, but it's program fees because it is their contribution to the entire program. So that contributes to operations. And then the recovery hub, what we're talking about is going to bring in a centralized place for a lot of the organizations that we already have, but creating warm transfers between them. So we will be bringing in different revenue from that as well, including wraparound services for children and family services for people. Right now, anybody in any other program near us and most other programs cannot do visitation or anything actively with CPS in-house in their treatment facility and their sober living homes. So we'll be opening up a space to do that. And then we would be facilitating that and generating revenue from those programs too.
And so with your behavioral health license, once you obtain that,
Yeah.
would that give you an opportunity to leverage more Medicaid
Yes.
dollars
Yeah.
and stuff for services
Yeah.
that are provided?
Yeah.
And you guys have a plan
Yes.
for
Yeah.
that, what that would look like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for both in-house residents and the community.
You submitted an application to the West Virginia First Foundation, and they awarded you $380,000. Did they explain why they limited you at $380,000?
That's what they were contributing. The grant itself was broken up. You had three different options. One of them was recovery housing, which obviously is what we applied for. They were $380,000 was the max as far as that. And it was an expansion effort. So they're looking to expand the beds available. So that was the one that we were awarded.
Did you apply for a grant for the purchase of the building and the renovations?
That is what that grant would go towards. So we have the funds right now to purchase the building.
Those funds are specific.
So specific to purchase or building.
The
out,
380,000
renovation.
is
Yeah.
just
Yes.
for the purchase and the renovation?
Yes. Yes.
What is the total max on the total amount on the renovations?
The total project is estimated 1.6 million.
1.6 million. Okay, so, but I mean, in a breakdown, okay, we're looking at 1.6 million for the total, but what's going to be the cost of like your operation, your operating budget, your renovating, and your purchase? Your purchase is 380, so there's 380 out of there. So we're at 1.3.
The purchase right now would be 200,000. But we don't have exact costs right now for construction, which is why we said we're going through local architects. We're doing local construction company. And the Mills Group right now is offering 4 spots to do a conceptual architecture plan. So then we would have exact numbers for that to be able to give you that. We can't give you something we don't have yet. We also can't get a lot of these things without having the property.
So to follow up on Councilman Jackson's question, I guess the question I would have is, whom are you purchasing the building from?
So we would be purchasing it from Bruno Martinez's company. You guys had said the name. So we would be purchasing it from them with approval of the land reuse agency.
Okay. Well, I mean,
So our offer is contingent on the LRA.
Yes.
I guess my issue would be if the LRA had it and they have a agreement in place with NCB, I don't think the agreement was in essence for him to go out to market the property to find an end user.
He did not market the product.
Or I guess to make $200,000 off of a $3,500 investment.
So he's already invested money into the property. The building has already been completely gutted. He's done a ton of work in the property. He's not trying to make a financial gain.
Right.
We called him asking about properties. There is another property that could be a potential, but we called him because we essentially said, here's the corridor that we have to work with. Do you have anything available? And then once he heard our goal and what we want to do, he basically bought into what we were saying and loves the project. So he's not looking to make money off of this. He definitely was not marketing it. We came to him and he said, I think this would be perfect if we can figure out how to transfer.
Can he demonstrate to where he spent?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, we went in there.
I don't think we're in the business of getting somebody making money.
We have. He's taken it down to the studs, and we'll continue the cleanup and basically give us a clean slate. So he has done an extraordinary amount of work.
So is the 380 from the First Foundation, is it specific to that property or?
No, it's specific to a purchase or renovation.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So we could build something, we could buy something, but it is
Or you
specific.
could partner with somebody else somewhere in another location that could possibly
I don't think
do
we
that?
could partner in what way?
Same concept.
Same concept.
Because there is another, from my understanding, another entity looking to do, I don't want to say it's the exact same thing, but I think some components of that. I'm just wondering if that partnership might be something that'd be worth exploring. because they don't have enough funds either, I think, to do it. And I think they ultimately will want to come here for opioid funding as well. So with that said, I just, if we're going to consider it, I'd like to see a whole wraparound that the entities are getting together and.
Yeah, I mean, if it is something that has a proven track record, is evidence-based, because we've been working on getting together all of the organizations. As you guys know, a lot of people don't know what each organization does, and some organizations don't know what other organizations do. So we've been working with all of the local organizations and kind of mapping out how we can bring this together. So, I mean, if it is.
I'll connect you with them.
Yeah. Who is it?
I didn't say.
But you can.
So I just had one more question. So under next steps here, you said that you guys are prepared to provide architectural assessments, financial documentation, partner letters, whatever. With the architectural assessments, is that for the current building that you're proposing? And in those architectural assessments would be any kind of like engineering studies or anything done on that to see what, because I mean, what I worry about is yes, you get $380,000. This building may cost $200,000. Then you run into the renovation of it,
right?
And it could cost way more than what you anticipated. So
Absolutely, and that Bruno would be a better person to give you all of the details of this, but a lot of that has already been done. So he's already put in a sprinkler system. It's already been brought up to fire code. As we said, he is clean slate, and structurally everything is sound. I know he's already done a lot of that engineering. They were ready to start turning this into the apartment. So all of that has been completed. Our end would be like HVAC and then building out to suit what we want to do.
Who's doing the renovations?
His company was doing it, yeah. But we would, when we would absorb that, if we absorbed it from the LRA, we would then agree to bid that out to local companies. And
Well, ladies, I really appreciate probably the most professional pitch that we've seen with the opioid money so far. I mean, there's been a couple other good ones as well. This by far takes the cake. I believe it would be a valuable asset for our community, and I think us on council, whether I'm here or not, need to remember that this money was given us from hundreds, maybe thousands of people who passed away in our county alone, and not to mention maybe tens of thousands across the state. So we got to be cognizant of that and use the money in the right way. So on that note, I'm going to move that we direct the city manager and city staff to take a look at the agreement between Bruno and the LRA and make sure that they can do what they need to do with that 1 year time span. The actual language escapes me. Mr. City Attorney, maybe you can help me out.
Well, it's basically the 8 apartments within a year, but I think what has to be done is we need a new agreement with the LRA. We need to get rid of the old option agreement, ignore it, and say, probably do a new 2 year time schedule, is what I would think.
Okay.
would that require a motion, a second, and a vote to refer that to?
No.
Okay. So it'll just be something that the city manager or.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and move it to direct the LRA to take it under consideration at their next meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Still have questions. I'll just, you can't do it now. I'll just talk to you guys after.
Yeah.
I didn't.
You know where to find us.
Consideration of appointment to the Code Appeals Board.
Mayor, I'll move to appoint Nicholas Wright to the Code of Appeals Board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Council comment?
Guys, I'm gonna go first because I have to leave. Everybody have a nice holiday weekend coming up, Memorial Day. Celebrate with your families. You see something, say something, pick up the phone and dial 911. And other than that, have a great holiday weekend. Jerry?
He's ready. Get that guy ready. Tag in there, Jerry. Maybe your last chance.
I'll be back. Councilman Deans?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd just like to congratulate all of our 2026 graduates. You know, the colleges have had their graduations, and this weekend, starting tomorrow morning, our local high schools are starting their graduations. You know, it's an exciting time. I hope that everyone who graduates from a Clarksburg school stays, becomes a productive Clarksburg citizen. Yeah, other than that, happy Memorial Day weekend. And, you know, take time to remember the sacrifices that have been made by those in our armed forces. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Councilman Jackson?
I would like to thank everyone for coming out to the meeting tonight. Everyone at home who's tuned in with us. I would like to say, you know, thank you to our police department for a job well done on a drug bust in the city. You know, we are way overdue, and we can stand more of them. Tear them down. You know, that's what this is about. You know, we got to get our city cleaned up. So, you know, thank you all very much for that. I would like to also say congratulations to all of the candidates that won during the election, and also, you know, give a big ups to everyone who had the courage to step out and put signs down, because basically it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. You know, it takes a lot of courage, you know, win, lose, or draw. So, you know, congratulations. But I'd also like to remind everyone who put signs down, please go pick your signs up. You know, there's still a few out there hanging around. I'm not going to say any names, but, you know, so congratulations once again. I wish everyone a happy Memorial Day. Stay safe out there. And thank you.
Councilman Hunt?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I appreciate everybody showing up. Thank you, ladies, for excellent presentation. I don't have much to say, but in the next week or so, I'm going to be proposing a charter amendment before the end of my term. Basically, it'll change my idea is to change the swearing-in ceremony of council members to start on June 1 instead of July 1. Considering the election date has changed to May, I think it's more than fair to start council terms on the 1st of June instead of the 1st of July, as will happen here next month. So other than that, I hope everybody has a great weekend, and you know, get out there and celebrate it. And like Mr. Dean said, remember our sacrifices of our armed forces, and not only that, your loved ones as well. Thank you.
Councilman Ward?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I first want to, I think that the Youth Movement Association coming up here and talking about their experiences in the community and in service, I think that's really amazing. Just to see youth actively engaged in the community, you know, and seeing not only the good things about our community, but some of the more challenging challenges that we have in our community, and how they could be a part of, helping, to address a lot of those issues. I think that's the real foundation of leadership going forward in our communities, when you could get youth involved in the trenches, doing a lot of this good work. And I want to thank Vice Mayor Riffle too for, helping to facilitate, some of the activities of the Youth Movement Association. Also, I do want to recognize the Change Initiative. I think that was a great proposal. Being a social worker myself, that kind of brings back that whole proposal brings back like the whole basis of what it means to be a social worker, and in the settlement house in Chicago, which was pretty much a place, way back, before you had any kind of Social Security safety net. When people are down and out and down in their luck, they could go to a place and not only have some housing, whatever, hurt, hang up, or habit that they have, they could get it addressed, but also learn some good life skills too, and get back out there, work, contribute to the community. That's the true essence of, what we try to do, as social workers. Of course, as a council member, I have to wear a couple of hats. And one hat is that, one, do we have the money to do it? And two, there's proper process and procedure. And I'm glad that we were able to get those questions answered and refer that to the land reuse agency to make a decision on that. So I really appreciate that proposal. And like Councilman Hyman said, that was probably one of the most professional proposals for the opioid funds that I think we've encountered. And I think it's a good proposal, and hopefully, through the process, it comes to fruition. And if you don't get the whole million, hopefully you get enough to be able to, to really to help the project be successful. No matter where it's at. So the other thing too is. I do want to applaud the city manager for these neighborhood sweeps. I think having code enforcement out there and being on the ground and finding these, code violations and stuff, I think that's really good. The only concern that I have, and my question is, like, even in some of the Facebook photos and stuff, is the fire department out there during these neighborhood sweeps?
They weren't on the first one.
Okay.
But what happened on the first sweep is a lot of residents came out and wanted to talk. So, and they were very happy to chat with police. So we want all our departments to have a presence. So yes, they are out there walking, chatting with residents, understanding what's going on. I talked to Chief Jimmy, looking at the hydrants, just being a part of the city and being present in the city so people can see all the different departments out that to have an impact on what's going on.
And really, I'll be honest, that's the only department I disagree with being out there. Now, I can't direct you to do anything like that, but my thing is, if there was a fire,
They left when emergencies happen. They have a small truck out there. I don't know what the trucks are called, Ford F-150 or whatever they are. First response trucks. So not the fire trucks, but the actual individual trucks. So actually they left twice. They don't go more than a block and a half before moving their truck. So there's no impact on service time. But historically, when I talked to the chief and other people in the city, the firefighters had a great visibility in the city, and the city needs that. Everybody loves a firefighter. There's nothing better than seeing them walking with different departments and engaging with the public. That's not going to change. The police are going to continue to be out there. Firefighters are going to continue to be out there. Public Works is going to continue to be out there. I'm going to continue, and so is projects, because the citizens need to see.
Look, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with with Public Works being out there, with code enforcement being out there. I even agree with the police officer being out there, because a lot of times if there are code complaints and people are writing notices of violations, someone could come out of the house and they could be belligerent. You might want to have law enforcement there. I just disagree with the fire department being out there. That's all I want to say about that. So but I think it's a good project. That's the only thing I disagree with on that. So, and I asked a question whether they were out there or not. So, other than that, I want to wish everybody, I want everybody to remember that the day off that we have on Monday, Memorial Day, those are for our fallen soldiers that fought, for our freedoms. That way we could get up here and debate and have the democracy that we have. And that started, back after the Civil War. We used to call it Decoration Day, and there was it was Francis and Julia Pierpont, which are just buried here north here in Fairmont. After the Civil War ended, Francis Pierpont, which was technically the governor of the restored government of Virginia, Had to go back to Richmond with Julia Pierpont, which I guess would probably been pretty scary back then. And I guess he was technically the governor of Virginia at the time. Well, that was sort of a short transition. But during that time, when Julia Pierpont was in Richmond, Virginia, they decorated the graves of not only the Confederate soldiers, but also the Union soldiers. And they did that, you know, the last weekend in May, and they called it Decoration Day. So we call it Memorial Day now. And I'm sorry, I get a little emotional about this because one of my good friends in Boone County that I grew up with, Scotty Aldrich, was he fought in Operation Iraqi Freedom, and he's one of those fallen soldiers that I remember. And so I just hope that, you know, on that day you remember the people who died for us. So, and in that history. So, other than that, thank you very much. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Councilman Howe?
Yeah, thank you, Wayne. I appreciate those comments. Again, thank you, Angelica and Melissa. We do appreciate your continued interest in Clarksburg and the addiction problems and recovery, and appreciate all you're trying to do. If we can get a status of, in I can't remember if it was in the budget or not, but for the fire, I think last year when we, I think it was last year, year before last, when we implemented the fire department, the car wreck.
$195,000 in that line budget.
Perfect. That's what I wanted. Thank you.
192.
How
It might be
192?
192. It's between 190 and 195.
We'll go there. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
And then just also, you know, I'd like to commend, you know, a couple weeks ago, didn't get to bring it up the last council meeting, I forgot to, but I definitely want to make sure. I do commend the Robinson Grand staff, and also the Fifth Street Dance that came into town to put on that SpongeBob musical. I mean, they did a great job, and I think that just kind of really demonstrates what the Robinson Grand was for, these community type plays. And there's one coming up, I think, this weekend or maybe next weekend, another recital. So, you know, those type of things are great to be able to support the community and the youth in the community as well.
Is that the one out of Fairmont?
Yes, yeah. And then also, you know, coming up on June 13th at 7 p.m. at the AMP, you know, this is another great thing that's going on in the community, and I really hope the community comes out and supports it. It's the music in the park. You know, they have the Hank Williams Jr. tribute band that Waste Management's putting on, and you know they're sponsoring that for a you know, supporting the community appreciation. So we just need the community to come out and support those types of things, especially when we have corporations putting those on and sponsoring them. So we just need to show our support as well. And then thank you to the city manager for following up on a few items I sent her this past week. Greatly appreciate that. And just a happy Memorial Day. And I'll echo Wayne's historical lesson there on that. Learned a lot tonight on that. So God bless our troops as well. Thank
you. I would echo pretty much what everybody said up here. Thank you for the presentation. I have more questions, but we'll talk. I want to thank the Youth Movement Association for coming. It's great to see the youth here. It's actually, when it was first started, actually one of the candidates for council, Miss Rutter, she was actually a part of that organization until she, you know, got old enough, and now she's running for city council. So I think we see the impact of being involved in the youth, and what we hope to see out of these kids is to stay here, be a part of this community. Unfortunately, she didn't, not unfortunately, because I guess she would have beat me, but you know, she had a great showing, and someone else will say
you didn't train her well enough.
But nobody had anything bad to say. She ran a great race, and so it's good to see people staying a part of the community and coming close. I don't know where to go after that one. But also, I will say that when I was a part of that association, we actually almost broke a world record. And actually, our project manager, Jason Lane, was actually part of that. We almost broke a world record. How close did we get? But it was, so the world record was we try to stack how many hats you can get stacked up at height, and it fell. It was close. But I enjoyed that. There's something else I had to say. Oh, I want to thank Delegate Petito for coming and giving us this check. I know it's very, close to, I mean, our mayor is very important to him, these statues and what it means to him. So I know, as he said to you, but I can echo it for him because I know how much it means to him. So thank you for coming and giving us that. And that's it. If you see something, say something.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.